Everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Yule, aka Priest of Midian. Got a good lineup today. We're going to be talking about a few things. Tucker Carlson, we're going to start off with him. As you can see, my volume is good to go. All right, yeah, we're going to get into Tucker Carlson, man. He went on the Hodgetwins show a few days ago. See how that rhymes? And he was asked a few questions. Not sure why he went on the show, but he did. And he got asked one question in particular, and he squirmed a little bit. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into the idea of Judaism and Islam. Is there a real division between Judaism and Islam? Or is it all phony? Is it all fake? Is it real? Okay. And we might touch on a few other topics that are trending right now, in the culture, as I say, and then go from there. So without further ado, I like to start off with movie clips. I have a very analogous, is that the right word? Analogous mind. I like bringing up analogies. It's just something my mind always goes to certain ideas or references, whether it be a movie or a moment in culture. But this is how I feel talking to the world right now. Check it out. This is from Goodwill Honey. Watch what Will has to say to this silly professor right here. Check it out.
Look, maybe I don't want to spend the rest of my fucking life sitting around explaining shit to people.
I think you could show me some appreciation.
A little appreciation? Do you know how easy this is for me? Do you have any fucking idea how easy this is? This is a fucking joke. And I'm sorry you can't do this. I really am, because I wouldn't have to fucking sit here and watch you fumble around and fuck it up.
This shit is easy. Excuse my language. This is easy, yo. It's easy to see through these people. It's easy to see the deception. If you just take your time and look, man, the answers are right there, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so without further ado, I don't know how long I'm going to go, but I want to get right into the meat of it, as they say. Pause. All right, here we go. This is Tucker Carlson on the Hodgetwins broadcast a few days ago. And the Hodgetwins, one thing I like about them to a certain degree is that they still have that frat boy energy to a certain degree. And it's hard to tell with guys like the Hodgetwins and some of these certain podcasts that are very famous and popular, because you don't know if they know or if they're just kind of slow and behind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what they know. All right. But with that being said, they will put you in a position. Like, they will say it. Okay. And let's check out Tucker Carlson here. Now, if you saw this particular interview, let me say one more thing about it. You notice that Tucker Carlson did a whole lot of promotion of JD Vance. And he did a lot of things to try to separate JD Vance from the Trump administration. All right. Very subtly trying to separate JD Vance from the Trump administration. So check out this clip right here of Tucker Carlson being asked about the rabbi with the Hodgetwins. Now, if there's a commercial in there, guys, I do apologize. We'll skip that as soon as we can. But without any further ado, check it out.
And I'm not Muslim. I mean, obviously I'm a Christian.
Right.
But we don't kill Ayatollahs. We're not at war with religions. What the hell are you doing? Who's the religious extremist here?
Right.
If you find yourself waking up and assassinating Ayatollahs, you may be the religious extremist, actually.
You're absolutely right. There's this viral clip of this rabbi going around talking about killing Christians. I don't know if you've seen it, so we want to share that clip with you and get your response. You got that, Joe?
6 billion idol worshippers who makes God angry every second of their life. Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Tibet, Nepal, Thailand. So many. India alone is 500 million. China is 2 billion. So many. 2 billion Christians, which are idol worshippers. between Chinese, Indian, Hindus, Buddhists, and Christian, at least 6.5 billion people are idol worshippers that, according to the Torah, do not have the right to live. Idol worshipper goy, it's death penalty. Not only Jews, even a goy who bow down to an idol, who believe in JC, deserve death penalty. 6 billion.
I mean, that's the perspective we're dealing with this genocide we have going on in Gaza, right? I mean, this is how they feel.
With Base 44, a simple set.
He said, this is how they feel. This is how they feel, ladies and gentlemen. I like that he said that. And I think a lot of people don't want to accept the reality that not everyone's who they say they are. Not everyone's who they say they are, ladies and gentlemen. And I find it interesting that when we're lied to, people believe the lie. But then when someone tells you the truth, you don't believe the truth. We're living in this upside down reality right now where the lies are like, okay, yeah, that makes me feel good. And then when someone tells you the truth directly, you kind of put it to the side because maybe you don't want to face it, you know? And, you know, my analogy, the truth is God. And I think that's right on time with what we're dealing with in this world. No one wants to face God. No one wants to face the truth. Okay. Now watch Tucker Carlson. I like how, I ain't gonna say I like it, but it's amazing how this guy has this platform, but he seems to be so clueless about everything. He's clueless about everything. Right? Everything of significance, everything of like, you know, where the rubber meets the road, he becomes clueless. All right. So let's see how Tucker responds to what we just heard here from the rabbi. I'll put it back about 5 seconds here and we'll go ahead and get started.
I don't know who that guy is.
I mean, this is how they feel.
I don't know who that guy is or who he represents, but that's obviously true religious extremism.
Right.
That's ISIS level. Or
Tucker says he doesn't know who that guy represents. He just told you who he represents. He's a rabbi. He represents Judaism, Tucker Carlson. What are you talking about? You don't know who that guy is and who he represents. He represents Judaism. And keep in mind, the rabbi said that everyone's an idol worshiper. We're going to get into that whole idea of idol worship too, because there's a strange connection between Islam. It's not even strange if you understand what's really going on, but there's a connection between Judaism and Islam that a lot of people don't know about or are blind to, that they have more in common than Judaism and Christianity, Islam and Christianity. Christianity in their minds, whether it be Judaism or Islam, they put Christianity to the side because they consider Christians as idol worshipers. Okay, so check it out.
worse, actually. Again, I have no idea who he speaks for. Nobody, I hope. The Christian view is a universal view, and it is that all people are created by God and are capable of redemption by God. All people, no matter what they look like, no matter what religion their parents worshipped, they're all eligible for redemption through Jesus. So it's a universal religion.
That's not true. There is a nation of people that are not promised salvation. I'm going to say that again. Scripturally speaking, there is a nation of people on the earth that have no promise of salvation at all. So it's not universal. Okay? There is exceptions. All right?
Religion, because it is universal standard. So murdering the innocent is always wrong, no matter what they look like. Whether they're in Gaza or Kansas City, it is always wrong. It's a universal principle. God does not have a favorite people who are exempt from the rules. that is an anti-Christian idea. And so as a Westerner, a Christian, but just as someone who is an inheritor of Western civilization, I look at universal principles as the only thing that preserved my way of life. And I think Israel's view of the Israeli, I don't know what the Israeli people think, but the Israeli government has a view that only the lives of Jewish Israelis matter. And, they're not the only government to come to that conclusion. We had the Nazis felt the same way, but no.
Tucker is an agent. I did a video on this guy, man. When Nick Fuentes was going in on him really, 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 really thoroughly. I did a video about Tucker Carlson's role in this whole, some people are calling it the awakening or whatnot, but whatever's going on right now, right? There's a vibe shift happening. There's an undercurrent. If you're paying attention and if you're still, sometimes you have to be still. You can feel it, you can see it, you can hear it, you can taste it, you can touch it. If you're still enough. Okay? And Tucker Carlson's role is to make you feel good. Tucker Carlson's role is to be your voice, especially for quote unquote white Americans or conservatives or whatever you want to frame that as. Okay? He's there to be the visual and give you the impression that someone is saying what you're thinking. Okay? He is not for you. They asked him about what the rabbi had to say. Why don't you it's just, and the fact that you don't know that this is, this particular brand of Judaism is not on the fringes of Judaism. This is a mainstream view of Judaism, everything that rabbi just said. Okay? There's been videos I've heard of rabbis speaking where if I close my eyes and just listen to the voice, it would sound like what they told us ISIS sounded like. It would sound like what they say Al-Qaeda sounds like. All right? But Tucker's always shocked and bewildered and befuddled and, what me? I'm just a good old Christian. I believe in universalism. Jesus said he came to divide. He was a divider in some aspects. Right? The clean versus the unclean. The holy with the unholy. You got to divide those things. So let's hear him squirm some more and then we'll move on.
We have to reject that. We cannot accept that because that worldview is the enemy, not just of Christians, but of the West. So yeah, and I would just say again that there are, for reasons that I don't fully understand, there are a lot of people in Israel and a lot of neocons in the United States, not all Jewish, by the way, but who really hate Europe. And I would argue hate the United States. I mean, there were people on the right, neocons on the right, who were saying when the Gaza genocide started, we need to get the Arabs out of Gaza. Okay, because they're animals, they can't live here. They're too dangerous. Israel cannot live next to these people. Let's move them to the United States. People said that out loud. So what are you saying? Yeah. You're saying that, that's an expression of hate toward the United States. These people are so evil that they can't be within physical proximity of Israel, but we should move them here? That's an act of hostility and expression.
And another thing he does, he likes to, and I notice this a lot when it comes to this thing, where people are questioning the Israeli point of view, whether it be an Israeli, whether it be, and when I say I'm using the term Israeli to mean pretty much Jewish people, okay? They like to say, well, you're doing bad too. And Tucker does that all the time. He always brings in not all just Jewish people. Or, the Nazis did it too. They always want to include other people into the evil thought or the evil saying or the evil action, as opposed to just focusing in on what we're talking about right now. Okay. And I'm not saying they're wrong for doing that, but I will tell you this, though. It really highlights the issue of compliance. It highlights the issue of temptation, okay? And then you willingly participating in the evil. The devil wants to be blameless because he's saying, hey, God, I didn't make him do it. I put the porn up there, but I didn't make him watch it. That's their out, or what they think is their out. Okay? But there is no escape from judgment. There is no escape from truth. All right, so that was Tucker squirming there. Tucker is, I would not look for this guy to be any type of, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say salvation, but he is not the way, guys. He's not the way. He's obviously working for the system, the beast system. It's clear, okay? And I would say that Tucker Carlson is, in some ways, the epitome of the white experience to a certain degree. Meaning, you know, blacks and quote unquote whites are going to have to come to a certain realization and make a decision here coming up soon. But I want to focus on the white dilemma. The white dilemma is that this, okay? Now, we all know we've been lied to, whether you're black or white. We've been lied to in this Western new renaissance, this new rebirth, this new enlightenment was full of lies, okay? The dilemma for the whites is that those lies have put you in a position that you didn't earn, quite honestly. Whites were used. They used you all. You whites over here were used. You were the original H-1B1 visa. They tricked y'all. But the lies were in your favor, even though a lie can never be in your favor. But the lies were to prop you up and give you a sense of pride. George Washington was a Mason. But then I'll hear people say things about the United States being founded on Christian values and God bless America and these type of jargon and buzzwords. But God not dealing with Freemasons like that. Now let's talk about Islam and Judaism, because I think there's a deception going on where people really believe that Islam and Judaism are, you know, opposed to one another, and they're absolutely not. Check this out. So the rabbi said we're idol worshipers. Well, I consider this idol worship. This is the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. And look what they do. They go to that wall and they gyrate all in front of that wall. They stick notes into the wall. They pray at the wall, to the wall. It appears like idol worship to me. What do y'all think? What do you think? That looks like idol worship. They go to the wall, stick notes in the wall, pray to the wall, dance to the wall. That's idol worship. All right. Watch this. And we've all seen these. Here's Islam circling this rock over here. That's idol worship. This is idol worship. They bowing to a dumb stone. That's what the Bible says. Look at them. I've even seen images of where some of the Muslims go and kiss the cobblestone. They kiss it. They're the idol worshipers. Look at them. And they circle it. They're the idol worshipers. Now, let's talk about the origins of Islam from a progenitor standpoint, okay? And we're going to talk about the origins of Judaism from a progenitor standpoint, All right. Make sure you hit that like button if you're coming in. Now, listen, I'm gonna start. Let me preface it. We're gonna ask a couple rabbis here their thoughts on Islam and Judaism, Christianity. Now, watch how evasive this rabbi is. Okay. So check this out. This is from a network or something called Jewish TV or JTV. This guy here on the left, Major Weiner. Here we go.
Okay, so two final areas I want to get into. The first one is, I think there's no doubt that the spread of Christianity and Islam has in many ways just transformed the world's understanding of many of the basic truths that Judaism holds dear. Abrahamic monotheism. And I understand that the Rambam, the Maimonides, speaks about that they are in some ways a force for good in terms of spreading Abrahamic monotheism. What would you say are the best things that have come from Christianity and Islam, and what are the things that you think are more negative and Judaism would disagree with?
Sounds like a very dangerous question to put out into the public domain. But let me pick up one thing you said. You quoted the Rambam. In fact, what he says, to be accurate, is he says that Christianity and Islam have spread around the world very powerfully. The idea that...
Now I'm going to stop that there because he doesn't say anything too much. But you heard what he said. He says that seems like a dangerous, I guess, something to put out into the world. To give the true answer would be a dangerous proposition to put out into the open airways. So there's a secret in there somewhere that he won't disclose publicly. Okay? Y'all have to listen to what people say, really hear it. You know, I don't know if it's listen or hear or which one it is, but you need to really hear it, listen, whatever word you want to use to get the understanding of what people say and what they don't say. By their words, they're justified, and by their words, they will be condemned. Listen to what they say. All people. Here's another, now this guy right here, Rabbi Tovia Singer, he hates Christians. I don't care what no one says. He hates them. His whole mission in life is to battle Christianity. This is a Jewish rabbi, all right, out of Israel somewhere. Now, the interviewer here, I don't know who this guy is. He's going to ask the question. It's going to be kind of hard to hear because his microphone is not the best quality. But listen to the question and then listen to what Rabbi Singer has to say.
There's been two main branch offs from Judaism that stay Abrahamic in their beliefs. That would be Christianity and Islam with the Muslims. So you've got the Christians and the Muslims. The Muslims, now this is just my vague understanding of it. You probably have a much better understanding of it than I do. The Muslims hold that Jesus was just a prophet of God and was not God in the flesh. So based on the understanding of the two groups, which one would fit closer into Judaism? Would it be the Muslims or Christians?
Oh, this is not even a contest. So the Muslims, because they believe in one true God, they really worship one God and one God alone. And they have not allowed themselves to become defiled with the doctrine of the Trinity. Islam is by far the closest faith to Judaism. It's more than just worshiping one God, but Muslims believe that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were prophets. If you don't believe that, you can't.
Now, in order to avoid any type of copyright issues, you heard what the rabbi said. He said it's not even a question. Okay? That Islam is the closest religion there is to Judaism. Now, when you first hear that, it might sound a little, frivolous, but there's a deeper connection between the two religions. And I'm going to show you why Islam and Judaism are so close together, why there's this bond, this unspoken bond, all right, between these two religions, all right? It all stems from a spiritual jealousy, all right? It's jealousy. It's jealousy because, and I'm going to show y'all. So let's start off with the Bible real quick. We're going to go to Psalms 83. Pay attention to these Bible verses here. Psalms 83. This is a song or psalm of Asaph. Check it out. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. So those that hate God have lifted up their heads. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? I'm going to read that again. Psalms 83 and 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Check it out. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So these nations have got together and said, we're going to cut them off from being a nation. Okay? Look at the world landscape right now and ask yourself, who could this possibly be talking about? Who has been cut off from being a nation? For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Here's the key. Who's confederate against God? The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. Those are the first two that are named in this conspiracy against God's people, against the hidden ones. First two. All right. Now let's look at, we'll start with the first of the two, the firstborn of the two, which was Ishmael. Okay. Now we know the story of Ishmael, right? Ishmael has a very interesting story. All right. And I might read a few verses, but I'm kind of going to give y'all the breakdown. Y'all can go into Genesis 21st chapter, and there's some more verses in Genesis that break down Ishmael. Okay. But we know the story. Abraham and Sarah were married, and Sarah was barren. She couldn't have a child. Okay. So after so much time of her not being able to give Abraham a child, she didn't want Abraham's inheritance to go to one of his workers or one of his employees, basically. So Sarah said in her mind, I'm going to give you my handmaid Hagar, and you could take her in order to have a child. And they did. And Hagar conceived. Okay. And when she conceived, she had Isaac. Excuse me. When Hagar conceived, she had Ishmael. So Ishmael was the firstborn of Abraham through a handmaid. Okay. Long story short, y'all know what happened. God came to Abraham and to Sarah and said, you will indeed conceive a child. And Abraham laughed. Hey, I'm old. How's that going to happen? Sarah's old. How's that going to happen? But guess what? She did conceive, and she had Isaac. Okay. So Isaac was the secondborn, but he was born through his union with Sarah, his wife, not a bondwoman, not a handmaid. All right. And what happened in the story? What happened in the story, ladies and gentlemen? As Isaac got older, Hagar was mocking. She was mocking Sarah and mocking Isaac, basically saying, my son's going to be the inheritor of Abraham's wealth and all his glory. So Sarah got with Abraham and said, hey, I'm tired of her mocking. And Abraham said, you can do with her whatever, it's your handmaid. Do whatever you please. So Sarah told Abraham, I want her out of here. Cast her out and the boy out. Get him out of here. And Abraham did as Sarah told him. That fact right there caused resentment between Ishmael and Isaac. The firstborn did not receive the inheritance. He received a blessing, but not the inheritance. And as you know, Ishmael is the father of Islam. Ishmael is the father of Islam. So, but they have a resentment, or Ishmael and his descendants have a resentment because they feel like they were the firstborn. Let's go to the next brother. So we know that Abraham had Isaac, and then Isaac married Rebekah. And Rebekah also was barren, couldn't have children. And finally, God answered Isaac's prayers, and she conceived. But she had twins in her in her womb. She was pregnant with twins. Okay. And when her pregnancy, what's the word? When the time came for her to give birth, Esau was born first, and Jacob was born second, holding the heel of Esau, his twin brother, his fraternal twin brother. So Isaac and Rebekah had twins. Esau was born first, Jacob born second. And guess what happened with Esau? Esau lost his birthright because he sold his birthright to Jacob. Y'all can read the rest of this story in Genesis 25. You can read about Ishmael in Genesis, I think it was 22, something like that, 21. So you have two brothers now who were firstborn. Ishmael to Hagar, the bondwoman, and Esau was firstborn, but he sold his birthright. He was born to Isaac. And they both have this resentment. Ishmael is the father of Islam. Esau is the father of Judaism, ladies and gentlemen. Esau is the father of Judaism. Esau is the father, the progenitor of Judaism. Judaism does not come from Jacob, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? That's why they reject the Son. They both reject the Son. If you notice, Islam, they don't totally dog Jesus, okay, the way Judaism does. But they don't hold the Son into high regard like that. They reject the Son to a certain degree. And the same thing with Judaism. They reject the Son. And what you see them do, they work together to try to keep the birthright. They feel like they both were born first and that the birthright belongs to them. Hence, Rabbi Toby Singer will tell you plainly, without a question, it's Islam. Without a question, Islam. Check it out.
So, based on the understanding of the two groups, which one would fit closer into Judaism? Would it be the Muslims or Christians?
Oh, this is not even a contest. So the Muslims, because they believe in one true God, they really worship one God and one God alone, and they have not allowed themselves to become defiled.
What y'all gonna realize that all this fuss and mess about Islam and Judaism being opponents to each other is a fiction, ladies and gentlemen. It's a fiction. It's not real. It's not true. It's not true. They work hand in hand. We just read it in the Bible. We just read it.
With the doctrine of the Trinity,
We just read it here in Psalms 83 that the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites are in league together and against the seed of Jacob. That's what you're seeing. These are some of the things you're seeing in our society right now. You notice that these quote unquote terror groups such as ISIS and whatnot, they never attack, and y'all have heard this before, they never really attacked Israel like that. And it gets deep because some of y'all might say, well, how is it possible that, you know, Israel is named Israel, but they're not Israel? Guys, you have to understand, when you read in Genesis 25 and Genesis 27, one of the main things that happened is that in order for Jacob to get the blessing from his brother, even though his brother sold his blessing, Jacob had to wear the skin of Esau. He not the skin of Esau. That sounds disgusting. He had to wear goat skin in order to appear as Esau, the oldest. It's all in here. Read it. Read it. Here, I could go right here. Genesis 27:11. I'm just skipping through here. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father, peradventure, will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. Check it out. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. Check it out. Here's the key. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. So she had to make him appear like Esau. And conversely, right now, guess what's happening? Esau is trying to wear the skins of Jacob to appear like Jacob. Esau is trying to wear the sheep's skin to appear like Jacob to get his blessing back. That's what's happening. Now, this might be a lot of, I don't want to say it's over your head, but this might seem strange to you all, but that's what's happening right now. This is a spiritual battle. This is a spiritual contest that's going on. The whole ideal of nuclear weapons and military might and money and things like that. Listen to me. If those things were the end all be all to how this is going to be won, God would not have given it to evil people. You think the salvation and the truth and God's righteousness reigns depending on who has a nuclear weapon or not, or a military, or who has censorship over the AI and the algorithms? You think that's the true power of God there? If it was, they wouldn't have it. We're dealing with a spiritual contest, a wrestling in the womb between brothers. It's about bloodlines. So I know I started one place and ended up all the way here, but the things I'm saying are true. And you will see it. All right. So that's it. I want to get that off real quick, guys. I appreciate those who did stop by. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to end out with Good Will Hunting again and let you know how I feel.
Hey, look, maybe I don't want to spend the rest of my fucking life sitting around explaining shit to people.
I think you could show me some appreciation.
A little appreciation? Do you know how easy this is for me? Do you have any fucking idea how easy this is? This is a fucking joke. And I'm sorry you can't do this. I really am, because I wouldn't have to fucking sit here and watch you fumble around and fuck it up.